Hello everyone, this is a hard mode, no damage playthrough of Clock Tower 3 on the PS2.
Dearest Alyssa, how have you been? I think of you every day. It seems such a long time since you started your life at boarding school. It was after your beloved grandfather went missing while traveling 3 years ago that I sent you away to boarding school and told you not to come back for at least 6 years without giving you any explanation. It must have been very painful for you, and I'm sorry, but it was for your own protection. Now, your 15th birthday is approaching, and I fear your life may be in danger more than ever before. Please go into hiding until your 15th birthday has passed. I know that what I am saying will make no sense to you, but please do as I tell you and hide as quickly as you can. Your loving mother, Nancy.
Mum. Alyssa, you're wanted on the telephone. It's your mother.
Hello? Mum? Hello? Are you there?
What's wrong? Answer me. Hello? Hello? Mum? Hello? Mum? Mum? Answer me.
Mum, I'm back. Mum? Excuse me. Are you one of the lodgers?
Yes, I am.
Oh, I'm Alyssa, Nancy's daughter. Do you know where my mother is?
Your mother has gone out. That was early yesterday morning.
Huh?
She mentioned that she would not be coming back for some time.
What?
She was wrong. She won't be coming back. At all. So it's just you. You are all alone in this world now, little girl. My sweet Alyssa. I've been waiting so long for this moment.
Get away from me!
So you'll notice that I started from a load game screen. Clear mode is the hard difficulty of the game. It doesn't give you any added benefits or anything like that. Just loading from New Game Plus just opens hard mode. That's all. Little tutorial talking about the panic meter. Health in this game works a little bit differently. Starting on New Game Plus also gives you a wardrobe key, but we won't be going into any of the other costumes. You can figure that out on your own if you want to. So from there, we've also unlocked Holy Water, which is going to be our main form of defense throughout all of the scared teenage girl sections of the game.
Mum, I came back home. I know you told me not to, but I couldn't help it. I'm so worried about you. Where are you, Mum? Who's playing that? Where's the sound coming from? Who's doing that?
So I guess a little bit about the video game itself. If you've never heard of the Clock Tower series before, this isn't really what the rest of the series is like. The previous Clock Tower games were all point-and-click adventure game type things. In order to progress here, we have to give this engagement ring over to this dead body so that his ghost can finally rest in peace. This is going to be a thing that happens quite a bit, is exercising these spirits, and whenever we do that, we receive valuable items in return. Now, the sigil stone there, what that does is it takes a hit for you. Because there's no health gauge per se in this game, Basically, the rules for no damage in this game are relegated to specifically just don't take any hits and try to get into full-on panic mode as little as possible. There's only one actual forced panic section in this game, and that's like near the very beginning. I guess it's sort of like a tutorial kind of thing. But we need holy water for two things. One, to repel the bad guys, and two, in order to unlock certain areas, power up portals and stuff like that. So occasionally you're going to have to backtrack and refill holy water whenever you need to, but, you know, your supply of holy water is generally never a huge constraint in this game. Before we move on, we're going to take this lower path over here, grab the item. The ghost can actually clip through the railing over here and stoop down to our level. We'll use a holy water only if we need to. Fortunately, I didn't need to. Invisibility bands, whenever you use those, will make you invisible for a very short period of time. So it's useful for avoiding going into full-on panic, for breaking aggro of some of the more annoying stalkers later. We'll be coming up to the encounter with the first stalker pretty soon. So, I played this game on a whim, and it actually kind of grew on me, even though it's not a particularly fantastic game, intrinsically speaking. But that's mostly because of the cutscenes, the ridiculous mocap, and also the weird dichotomy in gameplay. Let's just say that the first 30 minutes or so of gameplay don't really prepare you for the rest of the game. So next up, we got to read this newspaper in order to progress. This is our first stalker, Sledgehammer, or as I like to call him sometimes, Gallagher, because he crushed that poor girl's head like a watermelon with his mallet. Go away, Sledgehammer. I ain't no fruit. I ain't no watermelon. So he just got knocked the fuck out, and we are going to exit and make our way towards the piano hall. You might have noticed by now that this game actually has some sound effects that were also used in Devil May Cry. And you would be correct to assume that that is, in fact, the very same sound bank that Capcom used for Devil May Cry, because this is a Capcom game.
Alyssa!
As a matter of fact, pretty much all of Capcom's games, like all of Capcom's action games, borrow from a lot of similar sound banks. Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, Dino Crisis, Onimusha. Once we head into the courtyard for the piano hall, that will despawn Sledgehammer, and then we can head back over to the save point. Well, the fountain over here, and refill our water. Then we're going to make our way into the piano hall. From here, we're going to make our first save. I decided to do this run in saves because I didn't particularly feel like, due to the overall popularity of this game, I didn't really think it was quite worth the effort to go through to do like a no save, no damage run. So, segmented it is. I hope you can forgive me. The game itself, the reason why it's so different from the previous Clock Tower games is it was after Human Entertainment went out of business, Sunsoft acquired the intellectual property for Clock Tower, and then the game itself was co-developed by Capcom. And so instead of being a point-and-click adventure game sort of format, they sort of reworked it into a more Resident Evil-like survival horror formula. I think this might even be the same game engine that Resident Evil Outbreak uses. So the way the panic meter works is basically Alyssa has like 2 hitboxes, and if an enemy is close enough, whenever they swing their weapon or do an attack or otherwise, then it fills your panic gauge. We have to lower and raise this lever in order to send this catwalk back up while also being able to get the key from this body. So pretty much immediately after that cutscene, Sledgehammer was going to do an attack pretty close to us, and there was absolutely nothing that we could do to avoid damage from that. Well, panic meter from that, excuse me. It's going to take some getting used to. But as long as I don't get hit directly, it's all good. I could have maybe just sprinkled a holy water and that would have been fine. So by cracking the code of the note left on the body, we can infer that the code on this locker is 103. We're just gonna go in one big old circle so the Sledgehammer doesn't like follow us directly and do anything to raise our panic gauge. After we go back into the door into the concert hall, he will stop following us. That's because he is setting up to ambush us. And once we go into this door over here, we can open the menu and use an invisibility band. Because if we don't, then he will jump out and immediately cause Alyssa to fly into full-on panic. But as you can see, he's still like tethered to us. He's still trying to come after us. I think at that point the AI is just really confused. After we crack that sigil over there, we're just going to chill out in the locker. Wait for Sledgehammer to disappear, then we can go through the door. So another little fun fact about this game was that the cutscenes were all directed by Kenji Fukasaku, who directed Battle Royale. It's a pretty interesting little foray into game design there. And the story was also written by Noboru Sugimura, from Resident Evil. Once Sledgehammer busts out of here, this is forced panic right here. There's nothing we can do. We can't go into the menu. We can't use a holy water. We literally can't do anything. But we can go back into this room and we can go all El Kabong on his ass. Yeah, I agree, Twitch chat. The Hunger Games ripped off Battle Royale. Like, oh my god, fuck the Hunger Games. Anywho. Our panic meter is gonna go down real slowly like. We're gonna go back into this hallway and see the camera focuses on that wine bottle sitting there. If we kick over that wine bottle, then Sledgehammer will hear it and he will come running after us. Like he will spawn in and he'll just like try to fuck us up. Go back into this hallway and we can move past the door, try not to get hit. We will be almost in full panic. When I get on the stairs here, I'm going to use the lavender water, and lavender water will cause the panic gauge to go down as long as you have panic gauge at all. And as long as the effect of the holy water still happens, which is about for a second or two afterwards. So it gives you a little bit of buffer to prevent you from flying into panic immediately. One other important thing to note is that when you're in doorways and the camera pans behind you while you're going through doors, the stalkers pause for the duration of while you're in the doorway. Your panic gauge does not go down, but you can actually use items while you're in there. You can't actually use any holy water or anything or otherwise on the enemies, but it'll give you a second to, if nothing else, sort of catch your breath and figure out what you're doing. and also be able to line yourself up to the next door that you're supposed to go to, or to avoid obstacles or walls or anything like that. So door camera angles are actually pretty crucial to movement. By the way, going across this catwalk over here, well, this little plank over here, you'll notice that occasionally Alyssa loses her balance. You just tap a direction, tap in the direction away that she is following. Just tap the left analog stick away from the direction she's following, and you'll just keep walking. So when he comes into camera angle here, we're going to use a holy water pretty much as soon as we can see him. And that will stop him for exactly long enough for us to get out. Just go back down these stairs, and because we have the pliers and we have the master key, we're able to just straight up leave the piano hall and head back to Norton Taylor. But he's going to be chasing us all the way there.
Alyssa!
So as long as your line work is true, you can just keep holding in the same direction. As long as you don't deviate from it at all, Alyssa will just keep moving in the same direction as camera angles change. So like for instance, after I got out of the piano hall, I was just holding down, and the camera angles went through like 2-3 fixed camera angles, and Alyssa just kept moving the same direction. If I ever have to move the camera at all, well, rather, if I ever have to change direction at all, I just wait for her to hit a wall and then just change it from there, and then just keep holding the direction. Like a dumbass, I did not open the door on the first floor like I should have, and instead I just backtracked all the way back to the door.
Alyssa, where are you?
But it's all good, we won't make that mistake going back. Pick up these repellent arrows here. I'll get around to explaining repellent arrows in just a minute after this cutscene.
Daddy, you're home early.
May, I have to tell you something important. Daddy's going off to war.
War?
I hate the thought of leaving you here all alone. I feel dreadful.
I'll be all right. But what about you? You'll miss me and be sad when you're in war, won't you?
Yes, I will. You're the most precious thing to me in the whole world.
But don't worry. Daddy, don't forget the piano concourse is on Christmas Eve. The winner will have their performance aired on the radio. I'll practice really hard and win the contest so that you can hear me when you're out in the war.
That will be wonderful. The competition will be stiff, but if you go to your lessons and practice properly, I'm sure you can do it.
I'll practice every day. I've already chosen the piece I'm going to play. Listen. You told me this watch was a present from Mummy before you got married, remember? I'll play this tune on Christmas Eve, so you can think of Mummy and me. Then it'll be like we're all together again.
So these files about the serial killers here, I left them in so that you could pause them while reading them. You can press J and L to rewind by 5 seconds. Or fast forward by 5 seconds, whichever you prefer. Or use comma and period on your keyboard to advance or go back a frame in the video. If this information is relevant and important to you. But I feel like because I leave a lot of cutscenes in my videos, it should be a thing that I should mention. Maybe I should just start putting disclaimers at the beginning of every video from now on. So because we don't have to worry about Sledgehammer for a while, we can actually go this way, grab an extra lavender water, and we'll make one more save before we actually go to fight Sledgehammer. Oh, right, repellent arrows earlier. Whenever I picked up a repellent arrow, like if you've never played this game before, it's like, well, what's a repellent arrow for? Is it something that you use instead of holy water? And it's actually going to add to an overall quiver. And basically the arrows that you pick up, the arrows that you can use, are going to be specifically in the order you pick them up. Well then, how do you use these arrows? Well, you're about to find out, because the game is about to get real fucking kooky over here. Also, another way to fast forward and rewind like 10 seconds is you can double tap left and right on the screen on your cell phone.
You figured me out, little girl. They thought they got rid of me that day on the gallows, but they were wrong. Little May was only the beginning.
Why? Why did you kill her?
You're next.
Boss battles. What's with all these complicated instructions, huh? Now that we are a literal magical girl, we get to do our first boss battle. So, the basics of boss fights. Whenever you are drawing your bow, you can charge your arrow up to 6 charges. So the longer you hold your bow, the longer it'll charge. And once you have drawn an arrow, you are committed to aiming in that direction. You cannot adjust your aim while you are charging. But the camera does go over the shoulder precisely to be able to tell you if your arrow is going to hit or not. So we gotta wait for him to do that action right there where he's like, die! And then he slams his mace into the ground. And when he does that, we have to hold circle in order to crouch. And when that happens, we're able to avoid the shockwave from that attack, and so we won't take any damage from that. And Sledgehammer is for the first boss is pretty unique in that all of the tethers that we have to put him through only take 5 charges. Later bosses will take 6 charges, but otherwise 5 charges is enough, and we just got to do it like 6 times. And after that, we powered up our ultimate attack. This is a survival horror game. You play as a magical girl, and you shoot spirit bombs at bosses. So upon getting that clover there, you'll notice that we actually have 4 holy water charges now. So we can actually use 4 holy waters before we have to refill. Before we end the scenario, we can go through the whole area and pick up anything that we missed. But really, I only missed 1 item, and that's because I was running away from Sledgehammer earlier in this area. Just pick up some lavender water. I don't generally use a whole lot of items throughout this playthrough, just only when needed, but, you know, it's kind of a nice thing to have for future segments just in case. But yes, I assure you, the other Clock Tower games are definitely a lot more horror-focused.
May, your father is dead. There was an explosion, a shell. I'm so sorry. Please don't cry. I understand how you feel. I never even knew my father. I lost him soon after I was born, but I love my grandfather just the way you love your father. Keep this watch as a memento of your father and continue to practice the piano as hard as you can. You know that would make him happy.
May. May.
Daddy!
Thank you, May. Your beautiful playing has brought me back to you. At last, we can be together again. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye, May. Goodbye, Mr. Norton. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. What was that? Have I been dreaming? Dennis? What are you doing here?
Pull me up! Hurry! Phew! I thought I was a goner for sure. Long time no see, Alyssa. I haven't seen you since we were in primary school together. It must be 3 years?
What do you think you're doing entering a lady's residence through a window?
I have to give you something. Here it is.
It's the key to my grandfather's room. Mother always has this key with her. What are you doing with it? You saw her? When and where?
Calm down, calm down. It was yesterday morning and your mother drove by in her car. Oh, and she said you might come back from boarding school and asked me to hand that key to you if she wasn't back in time.
She must have known I'd disobey her and come back here. She must have gone up to meet me. We just missed each other.
Hey, Alyssa, you've really changed since I last saw you.
I'm going to go and check my grandfather's room.
Hey!
Well, it looks like you've grown up too, Dennis.
Oh, come on. That was then and this is now. Wait a minute, would you?
So yeah, I have no idea why the mocap in this game is so over the top. But it's yet another reason why this game has grown on me. A little bit of exposition, talk about the universe here.
Entities? Ruders? Teenage girls who stand against the forces of darkness?
What, did you find anything in there, Alyssa? What's that? Entity? What's an entity? And the Ruders?
So it wasn't a dream. I'm going to look for my mother.
You want to look for your mother? But she was in a car, remember? She could be anywhere by now.
She's nearby. I can tell.
What do you mean?
It doesn't matter. Just go home.
Let me help you. Just the two of us. It'll be like the old days.
That was a long time ago.
Well, I might as well help you. There's nothing to do at home. I'm alone in the house until my sister comes back anyway.
You mean Linda? Isn't she travelling?
Yeah. She's working as a nurse at a refugee camp in Africa. In her last letter, she said she won't be back for at least another 6 months, so I'm free to babysit, walk dogs, look for missing mothers.
Okay. You can check upstairs while I look downstairs.
Yes, boss. Hey, one more thing. Isn't it your birthday tomorrow?
Huh? My birthday?
See, even after all this time, I still remember. What's the matter?
Oh, nothing. Now check upstairs, will you?
You can count on me, partner.
After the cutscene, look behind the picture of Alyssa's grandfather, grab the winding keys. Then we're going to move on to the next area of the game and the next stalker. Magical girls and exercising spirits definitely seems to be what the entire Clock Tower series is all about. We're going to turn the right key 3 times and then the left key twice. We don't actually need any of the holy water for this first half of the second area, so we're just going to go ahead and use all of our holy water, activating the portals on both sides. Pick up that teddy bear over there. That ghost is mad trolling right now, so I think maybe I will recant a little bit. Yeah, I sure did recant a little bit, because there's our holy water right there. Just need to cause enough hit stun to get her out of the way. We'll use the teddy bear on this car over here to exorcise this ghost. We'll receive a sigil stone in return. I think the best way to describe what the sigil stone is exactly is it's more like an extra life, so any hit that would kill you uses a sigil stone instead.
Who are you? What are you doing here? Answer me! What's that? What's that? What's going on? Mother, where have you got to? Say something. Mother.
Where on earth have you got to? I've been waiting for you, waiting. Albert, is that you?
Dude, Alyssa just got owned by that blind grandma. We can't go into the kitchen because we have to solve a very small puzzle in here. Turn the moonflower towards the portrait. Jesus, that is a little close. I should have actually used a holy water there. But in this room we got the key to the kitchen, and we also got the half-heart pendant needed to exorcise the other ghost, but this ghost is going to harass the shit out of us until we can do something about him, but we can't do anything about him until we're on our way back through here. After using the half-heart pendant and getting the invisibility band here, we've done pretty much everything that we can do. So the next step is to head back to Alyssa's house.
Mum?
So now we got Dick's desk key. I don't know why the background BGM was still playing during that small cutscene. Could have something to do with having played this on a PS3, well, a backwards compatible PS3. Generally, I don't like to do emulators. I don't like to use emulators whenever I play any kind of game on my YouTube channel whatsoever. The only major exception being for Resident Evil Outbreak. Upon breaking that sigil on the door, we're accosted by a ghost. P.U., this dead body smells awful. Better sprinkle some fucking flower water on him. We get a sigil stone in return, so, you know, not a bad trade. But yeah, the video quality on the PlayStation 2 by default, even with component cables, looks really terrible, and that's mostly because the PS2's deinterlacing, well, the PS2's interlacing looks really terrible, and it's hard to find something that will deinterlace the video particularly well, so I just decided to buy a backwards compatible PS3, like a first-gen PS3, in order to play this run. Directly from the disc. You can't buy it off of PSN. Speaking of which, this game is like really expensive. It was not a commercially successful game, so That's why the price is so high.
The Ruda who battle the entities are scattered all over Europe. We, the Hamiltons, are also of Ruda stock. Of this lineage I am proud. The Ruda blood is passed down to females. My wife, Francesca, was a Ruda. In my naive youth, I did not believe any of it. I denied the presence of entities and Rudas alike, preferring to believe that it was all just an old wives' tale. But then I found the Book of Entities, and Nancy began to sharpen her Ruda powers. I finally opened my eyes to the truth and began my research into the subject. The Ruda powers first appear in a young woman's early teens and peak at age 15. The powers then gradually diminish, usually disappearing entirely by the age of 20. For generations, the women of the Hamilton clan have spent their teens fighting against subordinates for the Ruda cause, before marrying in their 20s in order to produce the next generation of Rudas. Nancy is already 18. Her Ruda powers are dwindling rapidly, and it is almost time for her to pass the job on to the next female. We Hamiltons think of our Ruda blood as something of which to be proud, as well as a responsibility that must be taken very seriously. I am sad to give my beloved Nancy to another man, but it must be done. I will watch her marry with a broken heart. Another Ruda has been born to the Hamilton household, my first grandchild. I chose for her the name Alyssa. She is bright and lively, perhaps even a little strong-willed, and yet appears somehow wise beyond her years. I pray she will grow strong and healthy, and will fulfill her obligation as a noble Ruda.
A Ruda family. So, I am a Ruda. It's in my blood. Leave it to me, Grandpa. I have the same Ruda strain in my blood as my mother. I can save Dorothy and Albert. Then and only then will I be able to leave this nightmare and see my mum again. I'm sure that's the way, isn't it?
Before we head back to the 1960s, we're going to take this repellent arrow over here. So we have another repellent arrow. Upon returning here, it's preferable to have at least 3 holy waters. Then we can use this film that we got in Dick's office to dispel this ghost. Then get what we need in order to continue. We can refill our holy water at this fountain over here. Save our game again. Because the next section is both simultaneously fucked up and fucked up.
Are you here, Albert?
Mother, what are you doing? I told you you shouldn't wander around outside by yourself.
I came to tell you that dinner's ready. And I told you that you don't need to be worried about me. Your old mother may have dicky eyes, but she's not on her last legs yet. You just concentrate on your work. Anyway, what is it you're making this time? Some new toy that'll have the local kids agog, I bet.
Actually, I've been busy making this.
Albert, what's this?
Winter's coming, and I don't want you catching cold, wandering around outside. I've been making this in my spare time. How is it? Warm enough?
It's lovely. So warm and soft. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's enough playing happy families. You make me sick. How do you like the acid bath? May you both be blinded and search for each other in vain for all eternity. Want to join them? I hear the acid's lovely.
So we're going to hold up immediately. Then we're going to angle down and throw holy water at him immediately. This is Corroder. Pretty sure this is the first time I've ever seen a bad guy in a video game try to kill you with acid. kind of weirdo Metal Gear Solid shit right there. Before we round the corner, one thing to note, holy water can actually go through walls to hit the enemy. They didn't make it so that holy water would not hit things through walls, so definitely use that in your favor. Because by doing that, we're able to skirt around him pretty easy, use the toolbox key that we got in the garage, and then we can climb down here and use this fire extinguisher.
There she is!
So upon doing so, he is stuck in there. He's not following us for a while. Just kidding. I lied. Here he comes.
She is.
But, you know, Alyssa really, really needs to take a pee right now. That's what happens when you try to kill a girl while she's trying to take a pee. She does some fucking crazy Bugs Bunny shit to you. So if you're a serial killer, just do yourself a favor and grant your victim that last comfort there, especially if you value your dignity. Gotta make sure that we have some holy water right here. As soon as he starts walking towards you, like literally the same frame he starts walking towards you is when you need to mash into triangle, try to toss holy water at him. At which point you will have gained more than enough distance between you and him to be able to just go over here and despawn him altogether. This next part here is a little bit of a puzzle. Fortunately, we don't got to worry about getting harassed by Corroder while we're doing it. We have to walk on the lower plank over here, the upper plank, and then the lower plank. But if you mess up the puzzle on purpose and fall into the water, then a dead body will appear, and we can give it its corresponding memento. But we'll get around to that in a second.
I found you!
After this cutscene, mash triangle immediately. Because you're already placed at exactly an angle to be able to just go ahead and hit him with holy water. Then once we come in here, we're going to grab the daughter's letter, and then we'll go over to this breaker box over here and get rid of Corroder, so don't have to worry about him anymore.
I found you!
Well, at least we don't have to worry about him until we go to fight him as a boss. Now we're going to exercise this ghost. We're going to climb back across here, painstakingly. And then we're going to purposely fall. So we get a binding arrow as a result of this. I believe all it takes is two repellent arrows and a binding arrow. After using an initial 6 charge to be able to bind a stalker pretty quickly. Might be useful information to have for a speedrun some point or another. But that is most certainly not going to be something that I do. This is the last major project that I ever do with this game.
Stupid wench! You think I'll let you interfere?
You can't beat me! I'll destroy you!
Yeah, none of your lip, little girl. You have your own destiny to accept.
My destiny?
You must die, Alyssa!
So Corroder has
There she is.
maybe 2-3 different attacks.
Prepare to die.
But when he does "There she is," you just sidestep, and then you're able to do a 6 charge on him.
There she is.
But basically, whenever he does "There she is" again, you have to release your arrow immediately, otherwise you're going to get hit. I tried to see here if I could actually release that arrow and actually hit him through the wall. So when he does "Prepare to die," you have to keep running away from him because he will close the distance really, really fast. And use a close range attack, just like don't attack at all.
Damn it!
And then when he runs out of acid, he's like, damn it! That's when you can hit him with a 6 charge. And then you run as far away as possible, so that the only thing that can actually hit you is there she is.
There she is. Prepare to die.
But when he tries to do prepare to die, like if he's tethered and he tries to do prepare to die, he's just going to get sunk backwards, and you can just keep trapping him. Slow and steady wins the race in this fight.
Damn it.
So there's damn it again. 6 charge. Run far away so that he can't hit you with any of the close range acid. Fortunately, I missed that one.
Prepare to die.
He's doing prepare to die again. Now he's stuck.
There she is.
He did there she is, so we just sidestep a couple of steps. Still gonna keep trying to come towards us. Always queue up the next arrow as quickly as we can. And that's exactly enough to be able to do a spirit bomb on him.
Prepare to die.
So while he's stunned right there, he's only got a sliver of health left. Finish him off. After getting the Clover of Courage, we now have 5 holy water charges. So as I mentioned before, this would be like my last major project with this game, and that's simply because, you know, this game is a cult classic. It didn't sell very many copies. I think the total number of copies sold was maybe about 100,000 because the game itself was a commercial failure. Which also contributes to why the game is kind of expensive. I don't even know how much it costs. Let me check that really quick. Clock Tower 3 eBay.
I can see. Albert! Albert!
Mother,
Albert!
I waited so long for you.
Remember this? It's the winter shawl you knitted for me.
Mother, I can see. I can see too.
Thank you, Alyssa.
Thank you very much.
Dorothy, Albert, goodbye.
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 Quite a feat destroying 2 subordinates. The Ruder strain appears especially strong within you, Alyssa.
Okay, just checked it. $60 for complete in box at the time of this recording.
Alicia, this is no longer your home. This is the dark realm where I rule. In 2 hours, the clock will strike midnight, and your 15th birthday will arrive. When that happens, you and I will become one, and together we will obtain eternal life.
My 15th birthday?
Are you looking forward to it? So am I, my dear. So am I. I can't wait. Soon we two will be united forever. Alyssa, you might have defeated 2 of our number, but your mother was killed by a subordinate long ago.
No! You're lying! She can't!
If you don't believe me, you can go to hell and see for yourself!
So no intermission. We're not headed back to Alyssa's house because it just got turned into the clock tower. We're just headed straight into the next area, which is ostensibly a sub-basement level of her house? I don't know.
Alyssa, you might have defeated the others, but you're no match for me. You're going to die by my hand, girl.
Oh, nice trick. Oh, nice trick.
He's just looking right through the fish tank and he can't see me. This game is interesting. So after we hear him teleport away, we can save our game. Maybe he thinks we turned into a fish. But after that, we can reload, and he's going to come through the door pretty much as soon as we load in, because his status as a stalker is still active, I guess.
There's no...
But it's fine to use a singular holy water because it'll actually send him quite a ways away. Then we gotta make our way over to this elevator and head down to floor, we'll head up to floor B1 because we're starting at floor B3. invisibility band right after we get out of there.
You can't get away!
Chopper's gonna come right behind us. We can grab the rubber gloves, and as soon as we turn around, we just mash triangle, get out from around him. That is exactly enough time for us to get back to the elevator and head to floor B2. As soon as we grab this crowbar, he's going to teleport right behind us. We can just jump into this barrel and
Oh, nice trick.
he won't chase us for a while. So after we get rid of him, we'll head down to B3. Then we got a small puzzle here to solve. We'll connect upper right with middle, middle with lower left, and then upper left with lower right, which will reconnect all the power, especially to the card key reader that we have to access later. You get the solution to that puzzle by going just a little further down that path, which will take you to literally the solution to the puzzle. You just follow the instructions on the paper to repair it. Use the crowbar, go down here, then give this dude his glasses back. Then we get our card key and we can finally leave this area. So to get out of here, he's going to throw an axe at us. And it's going to damn near fill up our panic gauge all the way. But as long as we stay reasonably quick, we'll be able to hit the elevator, then go B1, where we're supposed to go next. But we can't quite use the key card immediately because we gotta travel all the way around. You know, now that I think about it, I wonder if I could actually like do this before I get the key card and maybe Chopper won't be here. Because Chopper will just straight up follow you here. Chase us for a bit. We'll just be ready with our holy water whenever he gets too close, because the startup for his attack takes quite a long time. Gives us exactly enough time to use that holy water, get out of there. Then when he's about to accost us while we're using the card key, we'll just use our final holy water there. After using the card key, we are safe. That was actually a lot more difficult than it looked. Chopper's a piece of shit. Because we got a save now, and we got a sub-boss coming right up. Also, hear ye, come one, come all. We're about to experience a wonder of the world over here. The miracle of birth. Because you guys are about to see Alyssa as a baby, and you're about to wonder how Nancy just up and gave birth to a whole-ass adult. Because this baby is huge.
This necklace has been handed down in the Hamilton family for generations. There are 4 leaves, one each for love, friendship, hope, and courage. These 4 leaves together lead the wearer to true happiness. I'll give it to you, Elisa, when you're older. Oh, you're laughing. Philip, darling, father, Alyssa has laughed for the first time.
What are you doing, Dick?
Grandpa!
Stop, Dick! Don't do this!
Why did Nancy have to marry a man like you? A man with no spine, no spirit?
Now you've seen the truth. It was your beloved grandfather who murdered your father.
That's impossible. It's not true.
So this fight is a little bit different on hard mode than it is on normal. Basically, we just have to get done with an attack and hope that he just stops to taunt us.
You can't get away.
And hopefully number 6 is exactly enough. Comes in like just right at the nick of time.
You can't get away.
But he's actually never going to throw any sickles at us. We just have to go far away and just try to bind him as many times as we can. As long as we can get one bind on him, then the rest of the fight is just over. Just keep using full charges. Just get away from him, keep using full charges. But you gotta keep him in between the tree and a wall.
This is the last one!
You are going to suffer the same fate as all the rest.
My sweet Alyssa, her small hands have grasped my heart and will not let go. But to think that the father of my beautiful granddaughter is Philip, it is more than I can bear. I consented to the marriage so as to protect the Ruder bloodline. I realize now that was a foolish mistake. The man lacks class and has not a shred of dignity. He loses no opportunity to exhibit his stupidity and weakness of character. We Hamiltons have no place for men of that nature. Even Nancy has been affected by his rubbish, saying that she does not want to raise Alyssa to be a Ruder. Of course, the existence of a Ruder is fraught with danger, but given the gravity of the situation and the great responsibility of a Ruder family, the obligation cannot be shirked. Any attempt to avoid such a duty is indeed shameful. As long as I am the head of this house, that man will never be accepted as one of us. Finally, Philip went too far. I could no longer allow him to defy me. But that headstrong act has turned me into a vile murderer. I must carry my secret to the grave. I cannot allow the Ruder line and the Hamilton legacy to be disrupted. There is nothing to be done but handle the police carefully and tread with the utmost caution.
I was killed by an entity and have been trapped in the darkness ever since.
What pain? Help! Help me! It's too dark to see anything. Where am I? Tell me where I am.
Those cursed entities. I just wish I could be resurrected to fight them.
What a shame. A
subordinate stole my heart from me, and the entities used it to perform the ritual of engagement.
Wait! What is the ritual of engagement? Tell me! Tell me what's going on!
So after we're introduced to all the other rooters, I guess all of Alyssa's ancestors or something like that, we can grab the lavender water and then we will head directly to the left. Also, I apologize for the theramine over here. As long as we take it nice and easy, we can just keep using holy water going to and from the area. Take the Sky Rooter Stone on the path to the right first. Just using that last holy water there to partially power up the portal square there. I apologize for the audio desync here, by the way. I have no idea why it's desyncing. But absolutely something that I need to look into. So after coming through the yellow path, we have the Sea Rooter Stone, the blue stone, which we can then promptly use to take back to the other sarcophagus where we just got the red stone. Basically, the idea is whichever one we took out first is going to be the one that we use the last. We can only carry one at a time. You'll notice these ghosts over here, they all have their hearts missing. Which actually tells you a little bit more about the ritual of engagement. So he's about to come this way. We get the Earth Rooter Stone, the yellow stone. As long as we have the stone, we can actually budget like one holy water per pass through each area here. Unless the ghost is like really far away, like this one. Now we can take the Sky Rooter Stone here. Refilled my holy water just in case. Then we'll head into the red hallway over here. As long as we can get to the sarcophagus before the ghost gets to us, we don't even have to use a holy water against it. But I still took holy water just in case. On the off chance that the ghost was in a weird position. I do hope that the audio resyncs whenever the next segment is loaded. After getting the compass of light, we can throw one more holy water. For a second, I thought that I had lost the compass of light. Then I realized that I was actually using the wrong one, trying to use it on the wrong side. After refilling holy water, we will budget out 4 holy water in order to get our portal ready going to and from.
You can't get away!
Now you know, Alyssa. This is what happens to those who dare to stand against us. Nancy is not the only one. This graveyard is full of the bones of those who I have destroyed.
You're lying!
Now, prepare to hand over your heart. The ritual of engagement will begin shortly.
So before we head down to solve the puzzle over here, we're going to refill our holy water in this cabin. We're going to hide in the shower. So after our guy uses instant transmission, blips the fuck on out of there, we're going to walk down these stairs over here. And then we're going to go to the far right. We have a limited amount of time before his ass shows back up, so we just got to light these pillars in order. The one with one eye, the one with two eyes, and the one with three eyes. I believe after we get the next compass is about when he's going to show back up. But we have to sprinkle one more holy water here. Which is one reason why I made the detour, just in case I absolutely needed to use holy water. But generally you shouldn't have to use holy water. After this, his timer is expired and he ambushes. Actually, he doesn't even ambush, he just comes out of his cabin. But he's getting a little too close for comfort, so I'm gonna use an invisibility band to get around him.
Oh, nice trick. Oh, nice trick. Oh, nice trick.
Basically, whenever an enemy is just riding the shit out of you, and you have no other option for getting around him, is a very, very good time to use an invisibility band. If I'd spun around and tried to use the holy water against him at that point, he would have most certainly hit me. So that's why I used the invisibility band instead. After sticking in the compass of shadows, a portal opens up. But we're not going to go through that portal yet. Just going to move around this big old bat signal. And then save our game because a particularly frustrating boss fight is happening right now. Okay, I don't think the desync is fixed. Better see what I can do to fix it. Well, hopefully I can fix it in post. Otherwise, I apologize in advance.
If thy true desire is to become an entity, there is no purer path than this. Remove the heart of a 15-year-old ruler of the same bloodline, and before the beat of her heart is stilled, drink deeply of her blood. Thus will the ritual of engagement be completed, and the dark power of the entity shall be thine.
What? That's why they're talking about my heart. But who? Who wants to drink my blood to become an entity? Who would do this?
Alyssa! What chance does a pathetic little girl like you have to bring salvation to the dead Rooders? None!
So Chopper is going to be a little bit different on hard difficulty than he's going to be on normal difficulty. Basically what we have to do is we have to try to charge our arrows as soon as he's done with his attack. And if he's about to land another attack, we release. But specifically, we are looking for him to try to throw an axe, and when that happens, we have to have a 3 charge ready to hit him pretty much immediately. Because that axe is going to come straight for us, and the only way to knock it back is with a 3 charge or greater. Fortunately, he got caught up on the geometry of that tombstone over there, so I kind of lucked out in this fight as far as getting the main tether off. So while he's downed like this, we just hit him with another 6 charge, and that was enough. Otherwise, we keep pelting him with 6 charges until he's down.
This is the last one! Try this!
You're saved. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you, Alyssa. Thank you. Destroy the subordinates. Don't let the ritual of engagement happen. Goodbye. Bye. Goodbye.
Alyssa?
Mum? Mum!
Well done, Alyssa.
Mum!
It's not that easy, Alyssa. Alyssa, it is I who will carry out the ritual of engagement to become an entity. You have no choice but to succumb to my final subordinate and donate your heart.
Alyssa!
Dennis?
Alyssa!
Dennis!
Alyssa, are you all right? I've been looking everywhere for you.
My mother was...
What happened? What's the matter with your mother? What's this?
My mum used to cherish Sith's four-leaf clover necklace, but one of the leaves is missing. This is my last chance to see my mother again. I can't defeat the entity without all 4 leaves.
Alyssa, it'll be okay. I'm here. I'll do anything to help you.
Dennis!
All the leaves will be found in time. You have to believe me, Alyssa.
You're right. I'll find all the leaves and save Mum from the entities.
That's the spirit. Don't forget, you can count on me. If there's anything I can do, just ask. Just one thing I'd like to know. What is this place?
Alyssa, wait for me!
Meanwhile, in Potterland...
Dennis! Dennis! Where are you?
Sis!
What? But you said she wouldn't be back for another 6 months.
I know, but that's her. No mistake. I'm sure of it. Linda!
Wait, Dennis.
Sis!
I've come back, Dennis. I couldn't leave you in that house alone any longer. I'm here now.
I've missed you so much, sis.
Dennis, watch out!
I missed you too, Dennis.
Nice to meet you, Alyssa. You have some remarkable powers.
But no one is powerful enough to defeat us. If you want your friend alive, give us your heart so we can create a new entity.
Dennis! Dennis! Dennis!
So that was Scissor Man Ralph and Scissor Woman Jemima. After we pick up the photo of Mother, we'll pick up this lavender water and then go to this dead body on the gurney over here. Then we get an invisibility bracelet and labeled key A. After we crawl through this hole here, we can pick up this looking glass. We can't get what's in that cabinet there because now we have to use the looking glass on that big mirror in the previous hallway so that we can get flipped over into the upside down.
It's showtime!
In this world, we gotta deal with Scissorman Ralph, but in this other world, we gotta deal with Scissor Woman Jemima. Once we go through this first door over here, we can pick up the release form, which we can use on a dead body in the opposite side. Jemima will bust open the door. She actually can't attack you while she's actively moving through doorways. While we're crawling through this hole over here. Don't gotta worry about that either. Then we can just use a holy water. But in getting rid of that sigil, it'll make it so that the cabinet will open on the other side. Now we're going to head back down to the first floor over here. Then we'll pick up labeled key C. And then hide in the stall for a little bit. If we hide for too long and she teleports out, then she'll ambush us. But we could still use this to our advantage. Because she's going to be actively trying to find us. Instead of trying to home her way in on us. Once I get around that, pick up the photo of a child. And then head up here. I decided to use an invisibility band on the off chance that the next attack that she used would throw me into panic. Didn't want that. Once we use the release form, we get the sigil stone. So we've got quite a few sigil stones here. Funny enough, Ralph hasn't decided to show himself yet. We'll use the photo of the child on the nurse over here. Which will give us a repellent arrow. You know, I don't even know what the setting of this area is even supposed to be, or what relevance Ralph and Jemima have to it. But for now, because we didn't immediately go for the key over in this cabinet over here, I think that's what's causing Scissorman to not show up. sure enough, after we picked it up, there he is.
Come on, Alyssa!
Mashed immediately. We can get around him, and then we just cut directly across and to the left in order to use the 3 labeled keys. Then while we're sitting in this doorway over here, we can use the holy water in this portal square. Reminder that stalkers can actually not interact with you while you're sitting in a doorway, but you can interact with everything else.
Yodohe Adohe Adonai Ton Ne Shibolat. Yodohe Adohe Adonai Ton Ne Shibolat.
Grandpa?
There's a lavender water right there.
Today is Alyssa's 10th birthday. The ruder powers will become visible any time now. Alyssa is growing up into a lovely young lady. She is everything to me, and I wish for nothing more than to watch over her all her life. But I know that is not to be. Every step she takes towards adulthood is a step away from me. Must I leave her? I want so much to be with her always. I have stumbled across an incredible document, an account of a ceremony called the Ritual of Engagement. It is written that by obtaining the heart of a ruder on her 15th birthday and drinking her blood, a person can be transformed into an entity and receive the gift of immortality. I am disgusted by the nature of this ritual, of course, but at the same time, there is a part of me that cannot resist its allure. If I tore out Alyssa's heart with these hands and partook of her blood, I could be joined with her for all eternity. Am I capable of such a monstrosity? Must I desecrate my beloved in order to save myself? Yet another amazing discovery. The legend of Lord Burroughs. In the document is a mysterious triangular crest. It is said that the one who is able to decipher the secrets of the crest will be able to become an entity. I suspect that this too is related to the ritual of engagement. But what could the letters A, D, and N signify? I must know. Somehow, I must uncover the truth. The answer is hiding out there somewhere.
So after that fucking stupid letter, we can now save the game and refill our holy water. So once Ralph shows up, we can just throw a holy water at him and then run across this little bridge. And what's interesting about the holy water here is it actually crosses up, so it can actually hit a little bit behind you as well. It's going to be in hot pursuit whenever you come up here. You want to use the holy water here so you can take advantage of this and be able to evade him. After that, we'll take this employee's memo off of the headless corpse here. Which is necessary in order to be able to remove the steel bars on the path on the other side. That's also the last body that you have to exercise. I don't remember what he gives you. I don't think it was something particularly fantastic, but it is yet another body to exercise. Another ghost to exercise. There's another binding arrow there. Once we climb these stairs over here, we can just keep shimmying along the sledge. Really compelling gameplay, by the way. You have complete invincibility here, so you don't need to worry about that ghost floating around. That's the ghost belonging to the body who had the employee memo, because he's missing his head. But yep, literally no danger, just slowly shimmy across. Same with this over here. Can't open up that furnace quite so soon, but there is a skull in there. We got to check the fireplace first, and then we check this green disc. Then she Supermans her way right into that furnace and burns her face. Once we use the ash, we can get the A crest sitting in the back. Move the candlestick, refill the water, use the A crest. Once we get into the library over here, after that bookshelf right in front of us, Jemima will ambush us.
I have trudged around the blasted continent until my shoes are almost worn through, but it is no use. Where is the castle of Lord Burroughs? That is the only place where the mystery of the triangular crest can be solved, I feel sure. It is hard to believe that 3 years have flown by since I embarked on my journey. I am not a smidgen closer to finding Burroughs Castle. Meanwhile, I grow older by the day, and my health continues to decline. I am certain that Nancy has by this time found my journals and realized my plan to seize Alyssa's heart on her 15th birthday to carry out the ritual of engagement. How Alyssa must have grown in my absence. How I wish to be with her, to be one with her. And yet, I do not have the courage to perform the ritual. What do I do? If I do nothing, I am no better than her father. This Hamilton, at least, should have spine.
Slice and dice!
So as you can see, I inched forward precisely enough to be able to trigger the sound effect there. And once I heard her there, I just threw a holy water and squeezed right on by. Alternatively, you could just use a invisibility band. Because the holy water vat is like directly in the next room, it is absolutely worth it to just start spamming holy waters around the corner until she gets caught by one. But before moving on, we're going to exorcise that final ghost. Except I got halfway through here before I realized that I didn't have the item needed to exorcise the ghost. And that I needed to go back into that room. So Jemima chases us over here. Throw a holy water at her, and that should allow us access. Except not yet. Basically, the catch is Jemima has to not be in the room with us. She was camped out in the doorway. Oh, there it is. Okay. So there's the charred skull. Then we'll make our exit. Then go use the charred skull. Also simultaneously dealing with Scissor Man Ralph one more time. We're just going to throw that holy water at Scissor Man Ralph pretty much immediately. Except he's really fast. So fuck him, we're gonna use an invisibility band. Trying to find the item use trigger for this charred skull is a bit of a pain in the ass.
It's showtime!
It does rather suck that there is no shortcut from the charred skull over here. Using invisibility band one more time so that I have enough time to be able to pick up the repellent arrow. Then we're going to head all the way back around into the dining room in order to progress the plot. I had just one more holy water. If I didn't have any, I would have just used an invisibility band. Because once we get back to the dining room, we actually don't have to run away from any more stalkers, and it's just boss fights for the rest of the game. can just skip right on by her here. These statues are not moving, but once we go into this room, then Scissor Woman Jemima will follow us no more.
I have found the Burroughs castle. I have finally solved the mystery. Lord Darcy Burroughs had a daughter, Annabel, but also a son, William, from his first marriage. Although Burroughs himself was killed, William escaped and lived out the rest of his days in peace under the pseudonym Billy Brown. Billy Brown. What a strange twist of fate. Although I took the Hamilton name when I married Francesca, my father was a Brown, a descendant of Billy Brown, which means that I am directly related to Lord Burroughs. The A, D, and N crests also make perfect sense now. Lord Burroughs' beloved daughter Annabel's name, his first name, Darcy, and his wife's first name, Natalia. My name is Dick, my daughter is Nancy, and my lovely granddaughter is Alyssa. Destiny weaves its web in the strangest of patterns. Does the legacy of Lord Burroughs live on? The fury of he who failed to become an entity? Is it futile, after all, to fight against fate?
Dennis! Dennis! I'll save you, Dennis!
There's literally no mystery to those crests. They just exist for the sake of existing. So we're confronted with a rather lengthy puzzle, a lengthy and risky puzzle. And of course, the safest and quickest way to deal with it is to just simply not deal with it at all. And I do that by taking the top left lift down and unlocking the gate from the other side, which we need to do before we can do anything else. And after that, we're going to move across, and once the suit of armor in the middle swings for us. We can go around him. If you have any sigil stones, they will actually take a hit for you. You don't gotta worry about it. Pull the lever and these two walls will slide up. As long as we move in a straight line to open this gate, the timer on those walls will not go down any faster. And then we can just move directly across and open the door. And we gotta repeat this twice before the next boss fight.
Welcome, Alyssa. That was just a dress rehearsal. Now let the show begin. Lights, camera, action!
Dennis!
Alyssa! Stop! Hey, I'll do anything! Anything!
Alyssa, give us your beating heart or else Dennis is going to be sliced and diced.
Run, Alyssa! Forget about me! Run for your life! Run! Run!
Dennis!
Silence! What's it going to be? Leave Dennis or donate your heart to us? The clock is ticking. Look at him. We need an answer.
Yes, what's it to be?
Grandpa!
Lord Burroughs, my ancestor, hear me. I know of your pain and anger when you lost your beloved daughter Annabelle. just before the ritual of engagement. My love for Alyssa led me to kill her father, Philip. Entity, was everything you're doing, is it all because of you? Do you want me to resurrect Lord Burroughs after 400 years? To unite us and to enact the ritual of engagement with Alyssa's blood? Is that what you want? Do you truly want me to stab my dearest granddaughter in the chest? Well, that doesn't sound bad. Once the deed is done, I will be with Alyssa forever. Return to this earth, Lord Burroughs. Join with me, and we will complete the ritual of engagement. Enter my body, and let our flesh be fused.
Now you know everything, Alyssa. The one who's after your heart is none other than your grandfather, with the blessing of our own Lord Burroughs.
Once we have your heart, the two of them will carry out the ritual of engagement, and a new entity will be born. Thanks to you, our ranks will swell and prosper.
Now, here, Alyssa, you wouldn't sacrifice the life of a friend just to save yourself, now would you?
Chop, 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 chop. On the blade, get them in.
Run, Alyssa! Run!
Dennis!
So before we move on to the boss fight proper, we're going to make another save here. Because holy shit, that was a lot of cutscene.
I'll kill you!
So as per usual, the one in the middle is going to swing. Got to go in a U-shaped pattern and take the one on the bottom right. Do the same as before, just pull the lever run past both of the concrete walls as I slide up. And cue boss fight. So the boss fight against Scissor Woman, you actually do not lock onto her whenever you draw your arrow. So you have to line it all up in advance. And the easiest way to do that is to go into a corner, turn, and use 2 repellent arrows and just make quick work of her.
Alyssa! Hurry up and get me off this thing!
Alyssa! How dare you kill my sister! You'll pay for it! I'll make mincemeat out of you!
Scissorman fight is actually really quick and really straightforward. So all we gotta do is start running away from him, right? And we gotta wait for him to say, I have a present for you. When he does that, we just gotta be really far away.
I have a present for you.
And then just hit him with a 6 charge. After that, we're just gonna go into the farthest corner we can. Our lock-on is turned back on, so we are able to just go ahead and do this. When we're this far away, his long-range attack actually cannot hit us at all. So we're free to just spirit bomb him. Gotta hit him with another 6 charge, and then we're just gonna keep doing it. But when he's that close and he tries to use his long range attack, then the blades are gonna curve inward. So we gotta watch out for that. We can still try to tether him, but it's not necessary. Really all we gotta do is just make sure that we keep hitting him. And then at the very last second, I get him before the blades actually hit me.
I'm the winner. Now to take revenge for my sister.
Alyssa!
thank you.
No, thank you. It was you who saved me. Something special.
You destroyed all the subordinates. You think you're so clever, but you still have to destroy me. If you want to save your mother, come up to the top of the clock tower. I'm waiting.
Grandfather!
Grandfather?
The real identity of the Dark Man. It's my grandfather. I have to go, Dennis. You stay here.
Wait, Alyssa! Don't treat me like a girl. I'm the man here.
Dennis, you may be a man, but you're not a ruder. I am.
Hey! Don't leave me, Alyssa!
On the way up, to the final boss, there's really nothing to it, just a very boring bit of atmospheric something or other. Just climb up these stairs, go under these gears, go over these gears, pull a few levers. That is the last binding arrow that we're going to get. One more repellent arrow here as well. And here's the final save point. Once we hit X on this final gear, we'll be ready for the final boss.
Grandpa.
I've been waiting for you, Alyssa. You don't know how hard I tried to find Burroughs Castle in order to become one with you. I searched and searched for 3 years, and at last I found it. Burroughs Castle used to stand in exactly the same spot where the Hamilton house is now. It's not a coincidence. It's all the entity's doing. This is our destiny.
Grandpa!
Don't look so sad. Once the ritual of engagement is complete, you and I will become a new entity, and we can be together forever.
No! Please, Grandpa, come to your senses and give me my mum back.
Your mum? Your mother is right there.
Mum? Mom!
Nancy betrayed me more than once. She married that weak, lily-livered, good-for-nothing Philip. And then she tried to prevent me from becoming one with my most precious granddaughter. That's why she's there. There was no other way, Alyssa.
Damn you! You're not my grandfather. I don't know who you are anymore. But I know that I'm a Ruder. I'll destroy you and save my mother.
Fool! 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 In a few minutes, the clock will strike 12, announcing the arrival of your 15th birthday. Then, the ritual of engagement will commence. Now, Alyssa, time to lie down on the altar and prepare to surrender your heart to me.
Alyssa! Where are you, Alyssa? Alyssa!
Dennis!
Alyssa!
Dennis!
Give up, Alyssa! No one can help you now. Not even your dear mother! All hail, entities of the earth. Burroughs and I will now carry out the ritual to become a new entity. Ghosts haunting the human realm, subordinates dwelling in the shadows. Gather here to witness the glorious ritual of engagement. Yadohe, Adohe, Adonai Ton. Nehe Shibulat. 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 The time has come at last, my dearest Alyssa. Merge into one entity with me, so that we can be together forever!
The final boss fight is actually a lot more difficult on clear mode because you can fire 3 fireballs instead of 1. The reason why I used 2 repellent arrows during the Scissor Woman fight was so that I would have a single binding arrow queued up, and then in between the first binding arrow and the next binding arrow in my quiver, I would have 2 repellent arrows, so that when I used the final binding arrow, if I just used them all in sequence, it would have pushed him away far enough so that he would have just been constantly tethered, and then the final tether, which would be a 6 charge, would subsequently bind him completely, and then I'd be able to set him up for a perfect Spirit Bomb. Pretty much exactly like this, except the first time I had to set up a 6 charge. Then we got off the second Spirit Bomb real easy. By the way, don't let him hit you with any of the other fireballs, because if he does, then he will also be able to use a Spirit Bomb on you. I got lucky enough to get a tether on him. As soon as I realized that I got 2 tethers on him that were just constantly shoving him back and forth, that's when I knew that I'd cinched it. And that's how you're supposed to deal with Lord Burroughs, who is actually, honestly, an abnormally hard boss compared to the other bosses in this game.
Alyssa. My dearest Alyssa. You always were a spirited child. But that's enough. Now be a good girl and grab my hand. What's the matter, Alyssa? Don't you want to live happily with me for all eternity?
Never!
Alyssa! You belong to me forever!
So for this sequence, we just need to take a wide angle around him. As long as we stay far enough away, he's not going to hit us. And that is Clock Tower 3, no damage.
Scissor is growing up into a lovely young lady.
Give up, Grandfather. I won't allow the ritual to happen.
Never!
Dennis!
Alyssa!
Dennis! Mum, we did it. We did it, Mum.
So that was Clock Tower 3, no damage, on clear difficulty. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also check out my other no damage videos and other games. Got survival horror, trying to branch out a little more. Maybe do some Castlevania, Final Fantasy, Metal Gear, Mario, Zelda, you know, just stuff like that. Stuff in like that general vein of video games. Those are my favorites anyhow. This commentary and this gameplay were recorded in front of a live studio audience at twitch.tv/CarcinogenSDA. Please be sure to check out my Twitch stream at said address. I stream there full time. So if you want to like drop in, take a look while I make these videos, you are more than welcome to. The next thing that I upload with any luck should be a Resident Evil 3 no damage knife only playthrough. So that'll be on the way pretty soon. If you guys are interested in financially supporting my bad speedrunning and no damage habit, you can do so on my Patreon at patreon.com/CarcinogenSDA. For as little as $1, you get early access to all of my videos before I release them on YouTube, as well as work-in-progress commentaries for all of my segmented runs and some such, with other incentives, benefits, and some such on the way. That's pretty much it for Clock Tower 3. Probably not going to really expect any more videos from this particular game on YouTube. Probably be specifically a stream thing. Otherwise, I'm pretty sure that I will work on other Clock Tower videos, just, you know, the first few games. Record some A, B, C, D, E, whatever endings, and some such. Because I used to speedrun the first game. Anyway. See you guys next video. Thanks again.